Oh, boy. Let's start with Saquon Barkley, Colin. He is in the MVP conversation. He's having a monster season. However, he's been tackled 11 times this season at the 1 or 2 yard line, which is most in the league. Obviously, not having as many touchdowns, not going to help the MVP case. Here's Nick Serrianni talking about Saquon Barkley getting taken down at the 1 or 2 yard line.
You always think about that. I think one thing we think about a lot in the red zone, a quarterback sneak, is tough to lose yardage there, right? So when you come out and the worst thing that you can do in red zone football is move backwards, right? You know, that's one of the worst things that can happen there and put you behind the sticks. You always want to stay ahead of the sticks because things get harder and tighter down there.
Yeah. Well, I don't look at short yardage as a huge problem for the Eagles. I think eventually they'll be fine there. The things I worry about are coaching, consistency, but I think getting a yard's never been if I have Jalen Hurts, that O-line, and Saquon Barkley, I don't think I'm going to worry much about getting crucial 1 yard gains.
Barkley's been so good. You know, he's been a bigger factor than Derrick Henry in Baltimore. I know Henry got a lot of pub, but I think Barkley's been a bigger deal to the Eagles than Derrick Henry has been to the Ravens.
I think there's no question. And I think, well, first of all, I think he's better.
Yeah.
He's got more juice.
And by the way, how bad does it look at the Giants? Remember, they spent $5 million on Drew Lock. He's now the backup. He was supposed to be the guy after Daniel Jones or to push him. That $5 million could have easily been rolled into Saquon Barkley, and the Giants keep him.
By the way, and I'm not advocating getting rid of people, but if there's a general manager, a football general manager in New York you want to have a question about, it's Joe Shane signing Daniel Jones to a...
Okay, well, let's not talk about the New York Giants. We're here to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and Saquon Barkley. They keep trying to make this a story a little bit. They even tried to stir up a controversy. I'm surprised they didn't show the clips, like pretty much trying to bait Saquon Barkley to be kind of like upset about all of those touchdowns that he would lose because of Jalen Hurts and whatnot. But I mean, Saquon Barkley is just that dude, right? He is really just the ultimate team player, the ultimate leader. I mean, if he plays with the Eagles long enough, man, he'd have a gold C on his chest. And he's just like, it doesn't matter, because it doesn't. Like, he knows what he brings. And the whole idea that he would have a better MVP case if he had more touchdowns just shows you how narrow-minded people look at all of this type of stuff, where they're just like looking at the pure stats. They like, that's not what the MVP is. If you're constantly, put it this way. Let's say you're anyone, a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, whatever it is, and you are taking the ball to the 1 yard line every single time, but you don't get a touchdown. You have 0 touchdowns, right? You go through the whole season, you have 0 touchdowns, but you're averaging like 180 yards a game, right? 10 catches, 10 carries, whatever it may be, right? Whatever combination we want to see. Amazing plays, heroic plays, big time plays, but you're not getting the touchdowns because for whatever reason, the way how luck has had it, you just keep getting tackled at the 1 or 2 yard line, and so then they hand it off to someone else or a QB sneak, whatever it may be. People are so narrow-minded, but they're just like, yeah, he look, so-and-so's got more touchdowns than him. And it just doesn't make sense. The great example of this is Joe Burrow's stats are through the roof, absolutely balling out. A top quarterback in the NFL, with Jamar Chase, a top wide receiver in the NFL, most likely going to win the Triple Crown, and yet they're not even going to be in the playoffs. Like, that is how ultimate a team sport football is, especially in the NFL. So it's all a collection of stuff. Football highlights this better than any other sport, where you have a 10-drive play where you hand the ball off to a running back, he gets 10 yards. You throw the ball to a wide receiver, he gets 15 yards. You throw the ball to another wide receiver, he gets 10 yards. You throw it to a tight end, he gets 7. You hand the ball off to a different running back, he now gets 15. The quarterback sneaks, right? Like, that's the you see the collection, you see the blocking. We see the play calling, the play designs. Like, it's the ultimate team sport, so you have to go beyond just, well, this guy's got 15 touchdowns and this guy's got 20 touchdowns, therefore the 20 touchdown guy is more valuable to his team. Like, it's so much more in depth than that, obviously. But it seems like when we talk about the MVP, it's still like just on the surface. And again, I actually don't care about MVP conversations. I really, really don't. It's meaningless to me. I'm sure Saquon would love to win an MVP more than he wants those touchdowns, because it's a great honor for these players to win an MVP, especially if you're a running back. Like, that'll probably hit even harder for him in a positive way. And so, but I just think in terms of what the Philadelphia Eagles are doing, like, it's like, this is kind of weird that this is like even like considered a story, right? Like, the Herdline News is like, this is what it is, in terms of what Saquon Barkley has been able to do and the QB sneak. Like, it works for Philly. They love it. And I think it was Saquon who said this, actually, when he was just like, the whole tush push brotherly shove. He's like, it is such an awesome, like, he loves it, because it's kind of like, you all know what we're going to do and you can't stop it, right? Like, you cannot stop it. Go try to stop it and you can't. And he loves that. He feeds off that. If you listen to any of him being mic'd up against the Giants or a couple of these other teams, like, you could see, like, he is incredibly nice off the field and very kind and supportive. When he's on the field, like, he is fired up. He is just ready to go. He wants to ball till he falls, man. Like, he is just all in. And you love it. I mean, he's absolutely going to be just an insane favorite of Philadelphia Eagles fans forever. Because that is the type of player that they love to see. That is the type of player that they absolutely want. And it's why, if there's any player that doesn't live up to that standard, not even just quality of play, but just quality of effort, they let you hear for it. They let you hear it. Because that is what they expect from their team. That is what they expect their players to be. So to have Saquon Barkley embody that both on and off the field just makes this such a home run. And this is why the Giants owner was pretty much like, I've been around football for a long time, and trust me, Saquon Barkley is special. He is popular, and he is popular for a reason. It's not just because he could run fast and do some fancy spin moves. Like, it's because he is that dude. And for people who fail to see that, you just fail to see in general. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles and Saquon Barkley being a legitimate MVP candidate, as well as kind of this whole back and forth between, like, who should get the touchdowns at the 1 yard line? Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley. Does it even matter, or is it just kind of conversation for the sake of conversation? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.